I'm Robin.
I'm Dan.
And we're the Ramblers.
Okay, we are in Memphis.
Walk like an Egyptian.
No, not that Memphis. Not Memphis, Egypt.
Memphis, Tennessee?
No, not Memphis, Tennessee either. Memphis, Egypt was the ancient capital, I believe, and it was one of the most important cities in Egypt. It's at the mouth of the Nile.
Right.
And we are along a river here, much as Memphis, Tennessee is, but it's not the Nile. And it's the Bell River, actually.
So you're in denial.
No, we're not in denial.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow, we're at this nice little park in Memphis, Michigan.
Yeah.
And ducks on the pond. Here's a historical marker coming up, and it's titled The Thing. The Thing was a self-propelled vehicle powered by a steam engine built in 1884 by brothers Thomas and John Clegg. It was the first recorded self-propelled vehicle in Michigan and perhaps the country. It ran about 500 miles before they dismantled it and sold the engine to a creamery. Whoa, right here in Memphis. Well, you promised me canals and islands and
I did not. I
Adriatic
said Venice.
Sea.
Venice. This is Venice.
Oh, Venice.
And just to remind us that it is Venice, Michigan. It's in the snow belt here.
Yeah, not the Adriatic Sea like in Italy, right?
No.
So we did find a little township called Venice Township. And we're in Delhi. Cool neon. Crystal bar. In downtown Delhi Township.
Well, we're in Delhi, so not that surprised to see an elephant. I don't know if that's an Indian elephant, but we're not actually in India anyway. This is Delhi Township in Michigan.
We're in Bath. Right outside Lansing, right?
Yep.
And which is Lansing is our capital of Michigan, but we're right outside. And we found us here because Bath is in England, right? And it's I think 90 miles outside of London. It's a nice community there, upscale. And here it's more residential, farmlands.
Yeah, you can tell it was farm area at one time, not too long in the past, but it's kind of a semi-rural type area now.
Right. But Bath has a famous situation that happened. In 1927, it was the first school bombing happened in 1927 in May. And this is the site of where it was. And this is kind of their infamous, what they're known for. The Bath City school disaster. And the school stood here. That's the original cupola back there. And an angry citizen.
Yeah, was
kind of
unhappy with thought he was being taxed too much,
right,
and they built a school that he was opposed to,
had
and built something that he
revenged.
was opposed to.
So if you want to look it up,
Raised
it's
his
kind of a
taxes.
very sad story, but it is the home of the first school bombing. But here we are in Bath. Here's Main Street, Bath. Diner. Music store. Barber shop.
Laundromat.
Paris, Michigan.
I told you I'd take you to Paris for Valentine's Day.
The Eiffel Tower's supposed to be in there somewhere. This is the path I'm taking to see the Eiffel Tower. You can see it, lots of snow here in Mecosta County.
Here we are in
Of
the
France.
most romantic city in Mecosta County, Paris.
Correct, Paris. Ooh la la.
I told you I'd take you to Paris sometime.
Yep,
Someday.
yep, and right here in Mecosta County is the Eiffel Tower.
I don't know if you can see it back there among the trees.
Way back there, it's black.
There it is.
Allons enfants de la patrie.
Okay.
Or something like that.
The darker, shorter tree among that group is actually an Eiffel Tower.
Problem is, it's not open now in the dead of winter.
Yeah, it's closed off with this fencing and everything.
It's at a Mecosta County park, right here in the center of Paris.
And you were telling me something cool about how they made this.
Oh, yeah, this particular area used to be a WPA, a Workers Program.
Works Progress Administration.
There we go. And by FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to get the economy going back in the 30s. And this was a housing area for those. And there's a lot of bunk beds and bunk houses here. And over the years, that all got dilapidated. And what was left were a lot of bed frames.
Bunk bed frames.
Yep, bunk bed frames. So in 1980, a high school, a neighboring high school, decided to do a welding project, and they welded a 20-foot Eiffel Tower out of the bed frames. Isn't that cool?
Well, you gotta have one in Paris.
Yeah, I love it. So there it is, in the city of love, Paris, Michigan.
So this Eiffel Tower also has a trout pond adjacent to it, so it's better. Not only that, but there's also camping and a snowmobile trail. It's got it all.
Another stop on our international tour. We're heading into Frankfort, Michigan, and there is a little gateway welcoming you to Frankfort, which is honoring the Ann Arbor Railroad car ferry that used to go from Lake Michigan to over to Wisconsin. And here it is with its lighthouses and its car ferry right on top. Frankfort welcomes you. Cool. We're in Frankfort, Michigan, and it's super windy. Can you tell? Oh my goodness. Check that out. Hey Dan, we're in Frankfort, Michigan.
Yep.
And it's not named after Frankfurt, Germany.
Nope.
Nope, it's named after a gentleman by the name of Frank Martin.
Right.
Who built a home out on the river here off the Benzie River. And he, in order to keep the snow off of it, he built like a wooden stockade.
Uh-huh.
And it kept the snowdrifts off. And then it looked like a fort. And people start calling it Frank's Fort.
Okay.
Frank's Fort is how it's got its name. So Frank's Fort. So that was a little interesting fact. Here in Frankfort, Michigan, the rumor is they don't have historical documents for it, but Father Jacques Marquette may have died here. There's several places along the West Coast where he may have died. This is one of them. But they also said that he was buried here for about 2 years. But then they dug him up, and his body is now in St. Ignace. So this is where he actually was buried for a couple of years. Frankfort is known as the gateway to the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore.
Ah, cool. And that's a cool place, and we've done a video there.
We have done a video there, so check us out on Ramblers. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. That is stunning. Check out this wind. Oh my gosh, I have to hold my phone with two hands because it's so windy. It's blowing out. Let's see what it looks like if I put my hair down. Whoa!